Morning all, it is 6:10 and before I get off to work I've got an extension to price for one of the builders whose brickwork we do. We've done his brickwork for years. It's a super simple build, it doesn't get much easier than this. I get a lot of questions around how to price, so I'm going to show you. I will stop short of telling you our rates, but I will show you how to work out the meterage and what we look out for when pricing an extension or a new build. There's a few moving parts that you need to be aware of. Please like and subscribe and comment and let us know what sort of content you want to see. I want to create content that you guys want to watch. I will see you on the flip side of the intro. Okay, so I've got the iPad, I'm recording the screen, I'm going to record what I'm doing. Hopefully this works, I've never done this before, right? So, when you get drawings sent through, you need an elevation, a section and a floor plan, alright? We don't price anything that hasn't been approved by the planners, alright? So we get a lot of people sending us inquiries where they're saying, I'm getting this, this is going through planning, can you tell me how much it will cost? And we always say no, because there's no point. A lot of the time they get knocked back and the planners ask them to make loads of changes and they have to come back to us and we have to reprice it. So it's a complete waste of time unless it's been approved and it's full planning permission. Okay, so what you're looking for is you've got the floor plan. Alright, so this is the back of the house, this is the existing house as you can see here. And then this here is the extension. Alright, so nice and simple. You've got two doors on the back, flag windows either side of the doors, and then you've got a window either side of the extension as well. So there's not a lot of brickwork and blockwork in this one. Alright, the other thing you're looking for is obviously an elevation. So an elevation is basically a picture of the outside of the building. So you can see whether there's any feature work, you can see whether there's any soldier courses. So in this instance, you've got, that's the front of the house there, and that's the side elevation, so proposed, not exceeding 4 meters high, so we've got no measurements on there, but we can see that we've got a soldier course, and we've got a stone window sill as well, alright? And then if we move over to this one, this is the front of the extension on the back of the house, and again we can see we've got soldier courses over both doors, and that is about it, alright? So yeah, there's not a lot in it. There's not a lot to get your teeth into. It's super simple. And what the other one we're looking for, so this here is the first floor plan. We've got the other elevation there as well. So we know that we've got a window either side, and that's exactly the same as the other side. All right, and that's the first floor plan, so we can see that there's no brickwork, and it all drops off at ground floor. All right, so that's the basics. It is that simple. You know, take a couple of minutes, just look over what's in the job, what it entails, what you're building, and then you can get down to the numbers. There's a couple of things to think about when pricing an extension, because a lot of the time the side elevations are next to next door's property. All right, a lot of the time you've got neighbours, which means a lot of the time you've got to build at least one, usually two, but most of the time one flank overhand. Alright, so that's something to think about. What we do is, the way that we work it is we work out the price, so we work out the meterage, and then we'll look at it. So we'll write the meterage down, and then we'll look at it and we'll look at the feature work, and that stuff's extra and over, and then we'll put on things like building a flank overhand. If you want to know how much materials you need as well, and you're doing supply and fit, alright, so this is for a labour only, but if you're doing supply and fit, we can work that out as well. It's really simple. You just have to take out the windows and doors to work out exactly how much bricks and blocks you need. Alright, so to start with, what you want to do is you want to work out your linear meterage, right? So we're going to do this. What we're going to do, we're going to go 3 meters, because it's 3 meters out. Alright, and then we're going to go 7.820, and that side's 3 meters as well, as we can see, and that is +3. We're going to add all those together, so really simple maths. So 3 plus 7.8 820 plus 3 gives us 13.82. 13.82. And that's linear meterage, right? So that's the size of the extension, the size of the footprint. Now this is where the section comes in. A section is basically like somebody has got a knife and they've gone straight through the building, and you can see all of your heights. You can see your floor height, your DPC height, you can see your head heights, your first floor height if it's going up. Yeah, we need a section. Unfortunately with these, and this happens quite a lot with extensions, you don't always get them. Alright, but what we can do is if we zoom in on the back, we can see that, you know, your standard door is 2.1, alright, from DPC. So if we say we've got 2.1, 1 second, 2.1, you know, that's there is 2.1, alright, and then we've got our soldier course, and then we've got a couple of courses on top. Alright, so if we say 2.1, and you could probably have a 9-inch soldier, so not a cut down soldier course, just a normal 215 soldier. That takes us to 2325. Alright, and then we've got, you know, in my experience, you get a couple of courses under the soffit and the fascia as well. So you're probably going to go, I'm probably going to allow 2.5 for this one. 2.5 in height. Alright, we haven't got the measurements, so we've got to make an assumption of what it is. If we look over here, oh, let's get rid of that. And that one, take that off. If we look over here, we can see that here it says not exceeding 4 meters. Alright, but that's to the top of the lantern. Alright, so that not exceeding 4 meters is to the top of the lantern. That is no good to us. We're not putting the lantern in, that's somebody else's job. Alright, so we're going to go 2.5. And that's from ground level as well, which is usually, so just bear in mind, ground level is usually 2 courses 150 below DPC. Alright, so we're going from DPC to head, which is 2.1, and then we're going to have a soldier course, and then we're going to allow for a couple of courses at the top. Alright, so we're going to go for 2.5. So it's as simple as 13, let's get that back, zoomed out. So we've got our measurements. We've added all these. We've added this measurement, and this one. We've added all those up. All right, and then we're going to times it by 2.5 because that's the height that we're assuming, and that gives us, so 13.82 times 2.5. is 34.55 meters squared. Alright, so that is the square meterage through windows and doors. That is from one corner all the way around to the other. Sorry, that is the square meterage of this extension. Alright, now a lot of people ask, do I go through windows and doors? Do I price it solid? The answer in this case is yes, and the reason being, as you can see, you've got, let me get the pen back up, you've got a little flank of brickwork there. Alright, you've got a little bit of brickwork there, and there. That's not enough for us to get our teeth into. Like, if you're going to do that on a price, you know, there's not a lot in that. Alright, you're going to struggle to make money on that. So if you've got a big house, you might take them out. Alright, or you might take some of them out, depending on, let me get rid of that, depending on how big the house is, how many big openings there are in it. You know, as a rule of thumb, for years and years and years, we always priced solid, but we didn't put in anything for soldier courses, for lintels, for damp trays, for weep holes. We just priced everything solid, exactly like I've just done. We put our numbers to it, and we submitted the price, and a lot of the time we'd win the work. Now, it's a bit different today. We use a QS for a lot of our work, not for stuff like this, but for the big houses that we do, the multi-million-pound houses, we send it to a QS, because mine and Christian's time is better spent building a company and putting the bricks down and taking time off pricing houses. Our QS knows exactly what he's up to. We trust him we trust him. We've been through a lot of them, and we've ended up with a guy who we really, really trust. He also deals with the clients for us and whatever else. So if you are doing an extension start to finish, not just the brickwork labour only, and it's your first job, I'd highly recommend using a QS for your first one. They'll send you back a bill of quantity. They'll send you back a breakdown of what they've charged, and you can then use that moving forward on your next extension. All right. But for something like this, if it's your first one, or if you're just finding your feet with working for yourself, price the brickwork solid like that. Put your rates to it, and put your price in. You know, it really is that simple. It doesn't get much easier than this. Like I said at the start, they're either really good earners, or the money's really tight on them, because usually they're a couple of grand job, you know, 2, 3 grand or whatever it is. I'll work this one out in a minute. You haven't got a lot of room for error. All right, so yeah, if it was me, that's how I'd do it, and that's how I'm doing this one. And then, like I said, we can look at it and we can say, okay, we've got stone seals. Is that going to take much longer? And this is where experience comes into it, because I know how long it would take to lay a stone seal. I know how long it would take to lay a soldier course. All right, so you've got your meterage, 34.5 meters squared, 0.55 meters squared. Now, if you want to work, if you're doing supply and fit, you want to work out your doors. Take your doors and your windows out. It's exactly the same principle. So what we're going to do, we are going to add up. So let me get the pen back. We're going to add up this window, this window. So this door, and we'll do that first. So we have got 1420 times 2.1. So we can see here actually it says 2.1. So we know that we've worked our height out correctly. All right, times 2.1, and that gives us 14.20 times 2.1 gives us 29. I know, tell a lie, my bad. It's 1.420 times 2.1.420 times equals 2.98 meters squared. All right, so that's for that door. Well, we've got 2 of them, so we want to times it by 2 because we've got this one as well. All right, times 2 equals 5.96 meters squared. All right, that's for the doors. So let's get rid of all of that. All right, and then we want to work out this window, this window, this window, this one, and this one. All right, so we'll do the little ones first. So we're going to go 1.2, because this is 1.2 here, look, 1.2 times 600. 1.2 times 6, so you get 1.2 times 0.6 gives you 0.72. Alright, and we know that we've got 2 of them, so again it's times 2 equals 1.44. So that's those 2 windows, and then we've got the little flag windows, which are 0.5 times 1.650. They're 1650s. So you got 0.5 times 1.650 equals 0.825. We can times those by 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's get rid of all of that. All right, and that gives us times 4 equals 3.3 meters squared. Right, and then what we want to do, we want to add the 2 doors, the 4 flag windows, and the 2 little windows together. Alright, so that gives us, so we've got 5.96 plus 1.44 plus 3.3, and that gives us 5.96 plus 1.44 plus 3.3 gives us 10.7 meters squared openings. Alright, so then what we do is we take our 10.7 for the openings, that's the meter squared for the openings, and then we take that off of our overall meterage, which is 34.55, take away 10.7, gives you 23.85 meters squared. Alright, 23.85 meters squared is the amount of bricks and blocks you'll need. Now, something you don't need, like something you can't forget, is there is 60 bricks to a meter squared, alright, and there are 10 blocks to a meter squared. So what we do is we take the 23.85 and we're going to times that by 60. Alright, so it's 1400, so bricks is 1431. That's how many's in the extension. Alright, but that's not our labour price, because our labour price we're going solid, remember, because we're not pricing for the lintels, for the trays, for the weed poles, so we're going to price the extension solid. And then blocks is super simple, 23.85 times 10, which is very, very easy to work out. I'll do it like that. Blocks 23850. Alright, so we've got 240 blocks and 1,431 bricks. Alright, and then all you've got to do is with the 34.55, through to the 34 meters and 55, which is what we're pricing. So that's solid. You then need to put your brickwork rates and your blockwork rates to that number, and that will give you your price. Okay, so 60 bricks to a meter squared. If you're charging, someone commented saying they were getting for £700 1,000 on the channel the other day. All right, so we're going to go 0.70 times 60. That gives you £42 a meter. That's not what we charge, but that's what one of you guys said you were charging. All right, 60 bricks to a meter squared, 70p a brick. So do it again. 70p times 60 bricks gives you £42, and there's 10 blocks to a meter squared. So you know, whatever you can charge what you want. If you're charging, I don't know, £1.70 a block, for example, again we don't charge that, but times 10 is 17 quid a meter. All right, so all you've got to do is times that 34.55 by your meter rate, and that will give you your price for your extension. Just lastly, allow a little bit for insulation. This extension, you can see it doesn't show any insulation, so what I'd do in that case is I'd specify that with I'd find the spec if there is one, or I'd specify it with the builder. All right, and then we'd allow a little bit on for insulation as well. Again, solid, even though we're taking the windows and doors out. And one of the last things is, so when I send over the quotes, what we put on our quotation sheet is all brickwork and blockwork. Sorry, all brickwork to be half round joint unless otherwise stated. All right, so you know, if you're matching into an existing house, you need to know really what the joint is, because a lot of the time they're old properties and therefore they might be flush or recessed. So if you don't do a site visit, you need to specify on the sheet that you're sending over with the quote on it. This is based on a half round joint from DPC up. And again, to work out below DPC, it's super simple. You just do your linear meterage again, and then you allow whatever you want to allow really. 2 courses of blocks, 3 course splash, but specify that on the quote sheet. All right, because otherwise they'll hold you to it. So make sure it's crystal clear. There's nothing. Clarity is king. As long as you're crystal clear about what you've priced for. You know, we always put at the end any differences to be discussed on site. All right, you've got to cover your ass, because they will. You know, it's no disrespect to anybody, but if you, for example, go in and say, right, this is going to cost £3 all in, and don't put that's from DPC up, you'll be doing the footings as well for that money. All right, so you make sure everything is, you know, crystal clear. And obviously you can allow a little bit for starter kits if you want, and allow a little bit for chopping in if you're tubing into the existing. I hope that has helped. I hope this has worked. You can see the screen and see me talking and doing my workings out. Linear meterage, height, extra and overs. All right, my advice would be, if you can, visit site and make note of all of the little things that might cost you time, like overhand and you know, ground levels and all that other stuff, toothing into brickwork. Alright, just be crystal clear on what needs doing, and you should make good money on extensions. I hope that's helped. Let me know what other content you want to see. Comment, and I'll make it. We'll create it. All right, we are definitely back on site next week. I was going to do a site video this week, but there's not a massive amount to see. We're getting all the block work up next week. There's a lot. There's double plinths going in. There's V jointed. There's coins. There's stones. There's mullions going in. So we're back on site next week. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. I really appreciate it. I'll see you lot next week.